Welcome back for another episode of RBP. I am Ross Bolen here with local pervert Jared Borislow, otherwise known as J-Bone. Sir, how are you?
I don't know if I appreciate being called local pervert.
I don't know if I care if you appreciate it or not. But I do love that you added the long intro music to this week. It's been a long time.
It has.
Since we've heard the long version of the RBP intro. And I think we're bringing it back. Those are good vibes, Jared. I like those vibes. I will also be Frank. And I will be Ross, in the words of fellow content creator and mental health warrior, Bo Burnham. I have spent the last several days, and the better part of the last several months, feeling like a saggy, massive sack of shit. Big ol' motherfucking duffel bag of shit. And as such, the two most recent mental health minisodes on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast are probably the most personal and emotional pieces of audio I've ever recorded. And if you've been listening to RBP for a long time, you know that's really saying something. If you've never joined us on Patreon, it is simply a platform that allows you to support the show in exchange for more RBP, meaning Jared and me. And Jared, every Friday we have a new ad-free exclusive episode.
Yeah, so I always say this, okay? If you're caught up on RBP right now, like right now you're listening, and you're caught up on the entire backlog.
Like I've heard every episode.
And then after this one, I'll be totally done. Well, guess what, you local pervert? That's not the case. Because you have like 100 episodes of RBP you've never listened to, so you're actually a liar to yourself and everybody else.
You are missing one of 3.
33% of RBP every week you're missing out if you're not on Patreon.
There are 3 episodes every week. People forget this. They think, no, there's 2. No, there's 3. And the third one is on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast, usually Friday
and usually
is when we drop it.
One of the funnier episodes in the podcast's history.
Yeah, it's a little more unhinged. It's a smaller audience. It's a slightly different style of show, I would say, than our 2 free episodes that come out every week.
We also do hotline calls only on Patreon.
We do, from 888-WR-BOLEN. It is the only place in our current RBP podcast offering that you will hear hotline calls. You will not hear any on the show today, for example. We also write columns on there. The Bolen Media monthly update column is available for everyone who supports us on Patreon as well. So much content for so little money. It's a minimum pledge of $5 to finally officially join the RBP gang and get that third ad-free episode each and every week. Stop only enjoying 2/3 of the RBP available to you and me. And unlock your full potential this holiday season. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast. Now that we are a few days removed, and I can attack without you all getting triggered and defensive about your horrendously irresponsible and totally illogical spending habits, Black Friday and Cyber Monday's existence will absolutely be looked back on as red flags signaling the downfall of the greatest economy ever built, Jared.
What makes you say that?
You and I, having previously worked in what could be described as e-commerce, internet commerce, selling merchandise on the web that is worldwide, have experienced a lot of Black Friday, Cyber Monday activities. We've done a lot of marketing for these 2 holidays, these 2 made-up holidays. Now, you have to go back to the origins of where this came from to really get to the root of it. Leads to Jeff Bezos being in space. It's the crazy thing. But they basically invented these holidays, and Bezos specifically with Cyber Monday, I believe, to give us excuses to shop more, right? And look, it's the end of the year, and really, back when the shopping mall was the central piece of American consumerism, they needed to get rid of the 2021 stuff before 2022. So they put it all on sale, and they have all these blowouts, and then Black Friday became a thing where the mall is just everywhere.
And it's also before the holiday season.
Best Buy, Target. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It's that, 1, they need to get rid of their inventory, and 2, they know that all of us need to shop for the holidays, right? We all buy each other stuff at the end of the year. And another one of the reasons we do that, if people don't realize, is for tax purposes. But that's neither here nor there.
You're saying Bezos invented Cyber Monday?
Yes.
I thought Bono did. Wasn't that song? It was like, Monday, Cyber Monday, right?
The fact that Bezos hasn't come up with that commercial and you have, I think, speaks volumes of your marketing genius comparable to his.
Uno, dos, tres.
14%
off.
See? That's a commercial, Jared.
Thank you.
Please clap.
Please clap.
Thank you. So yeah, it's going back to the origins of it. It was, I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? It's and we're all with it because we want to shop, we want to buy stuff, and certainly we'd like it to be cheaper than it normally is. But now that I'm like a decade into being fully immersed in being an American pig of capitalism and consumerism, I can tell you this is one of the stupidest things about us. I don't know if it's worldwide now or if it's gone international, but here in America, this is one of the dumbest things. Every business is set up with profit margins. They mark up everything so that they can make profits. And it's hysterical to me that at the end of the year, they drop those outrageously high prices, 10% or whatever. By the way, they have 50 other sales throughout the course of the year that have the same markdown. Maybe they go an extra 5% for the fucking holiday or whatever, but you're not saving that much is the point. And they were already overcharging you, and they're winning. It's them making money, maybe slightly less, but they're getting you back in another sale and another, point of contact. And it's just weird. And people are really defensive about it, I noticed. Because I tweeted some about it, and then it kind of became a blessing in disguise that we couldn't record earlier in the week because of my mental health stuff. Because, man, the blowback, people take this shit serious. Like, people who are in on Black Friday and Cyber Monday and do it for real, they don't like you talking smack about it.
Yeah, I also worked for a very large consumer goods company, and I was there for a Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
You did, made in.
Yes, it is all hands on deck for like 2 months. And it's the 2 months before. All the work that these companies do for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, including all the email writing, all the graphic making, is done like 2 months before.
If they're a good company.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If they're well run. And plan well and have a marketing department that's executed properly. Yeah. It's very thought out, and it's why you get 15 different emails. Like, here, I'll read a couple of my tweets about this before we get further into it. Cyber Monday is the most pathetic version of capitalism we have accomplished. What a bunch of morons. Oh, look, honey, the company we bought our toilet plunger from is having a 15% off sale. We get it. Everything is on sale today. Not sure 15 separate email blasts are necessary. I will pretend to be shocked when all these sales continue through tomorrow, even though tomorrow is Tuesday, not Monday, if you promise to stop emailing.
That's my favorite thing about Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It's like, we're only doing Black Friday this year. Just kidding. It's Black Weekend. Just kidding. Also
Black
Cyber
Week.
Monday.
It's just Black Week.
Yeah.
It's a Black Week of sales.
They always extend it.
And I don't understand why and they're like, you're not going to believe this. One final hour. And I'm like, it's fucking it's the following Friday. It's been 9 days. One more hour of Cyber Monday sales. And I'm like, dude, you're trying to sell me a spatula. It's not that serious,
Is it
man.
a good spatula?
Deals are just weird. They're just weird. Like, when you're at the grocery store, when you're at the grocery store in the checkout line and the lady in front of you or the dude in front of you, whatever, has 56 coupons. They're usually elderly, a boomer, booming so hard right in front of you. And you're just like, fucking A, lady, can it really be worth and for me, it's a time translation.
Mm-hmm.
In the shopping on Cyber Monday, Black Friday, for those of us who shop exclusively on the internet, which I think now after the pandemic is everyone.
Yeah.
Is not an enjoyable experience. It's fucking chaos.
Now,
there's banner ads everywhere and shit's popping up and there's 46. It's just like.
So this is the alternative that you just laid out to trampling people to death in a Walmart. So I think I'm going to take it.
While someone sprays you in the face with perfume.
Yeah.
You're not wrong, Jared.
Like there were Black Friday, before the internet, there were Black Friday deaths. Every Black Friday,
people were getting murdered over big screen TVs in Best Buy parking lots and shit.
And it wasn't just tramplings; it was stabbings. It would be
Jared,
the classic.
You couldn't even go into Foot Locker on Black Friday without a fucking gat. Like, you had to be strapped.
Yeah, they would. Your foot would be locked to the ground.
You'd be permanently foot locked.
What is a Foot Locker? I never really thought about that.
It's the same as Davy Jones' locker, but for feet. Like fetishists.
That sounds sick.
The Foot Locker does sound like it would be the most successful foot fetish porn domain. And I'm betting that's become a branding problem for them at some point. I bet they get inquiries weekly. Hey, y'all are on the way out, right? I mean, come on, Foot Locker. Look, we're trying to launch this hot foot site for feet.
The Foot Locker.
Footlocker.com really needs, come on, guys, give up the Right.
And we all know that foot fetishists, like porn distributors, have more money than any other fetish distribution company because feet, it's a non-nude fetish.
Right.
So a lot more people are willing to do it and then not feel like they are stigmatized.
Big
for
market. Big market for feet, Jared. Gets bigger every day.
Have you ever sold feet pics?
I'm going to plead the fifth on that question just for the sake of my own privacy.
I'm on Cameo at Jared Borislow, and I get requests from people, and they're like, hey.
I'll answer this question. I have gotten many requests.
Yeah.
But I won't tell you whether or not I've fulfilled any of them because that's my personal information, and I'll thank you to stay out of my personal affairs.
What would be, you could just say no.
Dan Marino.
You could just say no.
But I won't. I won't, though. All right, so I read my tweets. It just never ceases to amaze me. I refused to participate this year. I am going to pay higher prices intentionally. But that's how much I hate Black Friday and Cyber Monday. It's what they stand for.
But here's the issue,
that I'm
Ross.
disgusted by.
Are they ever going to raise the prices back up? What if it's Black Friday forever? That's the next wave of Black Friday. Everything 15% off forever.
Here's a little inside information. The company that Jared and I formerly worked at didn't work. It failed. It no longer exists. And one of the reasons for that is that we had sales every fucking day for like 3 years. I mean, for every reason you can imagine. Flag Day. Take your dog to work day. We had sales for every single possible thing, and that was in part because we had to, because the cash flow situation at hand as a result of trying to be both a media company and an e-commerce menswear company was not good. And that's as far as I need to go with it. But man, we learned too much there about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, how it works, the sales all the time, and it's just like you're not wrong. Eventually, it's just every day is Black Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? In the future.
Well, isn't what is it, Black Tuesday? Is that the stock market crash thing?
Are the racists on this? Why is it Black Friday? Why isn't it White Friday?
You got to imagine they are.
Are they? They're not loud enough about this. If they're very loud about really dumb shit on the regular, the racists. This is one that I would expect to hear from them on.
They're slacking.
Also, there are still a large demographic of people who believe that Cyber Monday is exclusively for cyber sexing. It's people who are over the age of 35 years old in the United States. That were raised in the 80s and 90s. They think Cyber Monday is where you send your friend an ASL message, A/S/L, which means age, sex, location. And I used to fire that off every night in the lesbian chat rooms on AOL.com. Shouts to AOL.com. Speaking of fucking spam and shitty things and about consumerism, do you remember as a child getting 420, why that number, Elon? 420 AOL discs in the mail per year?
Yes. We used to use them as Frisbees.
Yeah, that became like a household item that people used for all manner of things. I used to use them to scoop into the dustpan.
My dad still has some, or he did before they moved houses, but he had one in the study. I should have taken it and just like put it behind me as a decoration.
Man, at one point, CDs were a huge part of culture. Like, we had these stacks of blank DVD ROMs because I'd be burning music onto them that I took off Napster when I was ripping off Metallica back in the day.
Did you ever see any Yukon CDs? Yukon CDs?
Yukon CDs what, Jared?
I think you can finish it for me, but yes.
I want you to, though.
Yukon CDs nuts.
Thank you. Please clap.
Please clap.
Anyway, I'm not a fan.
I thought I was going to get you with that one, to be honest.
No, you weren't. Not today, Satan. Not today. You strike me as a Black Friday, Cyber Monday type of dude, though. Did you get anything this year? Were you paying attention?
Are you making a Jew joke?
No. What? God, Jared, how dare you accuse me of anti-Semitism? Are you making a Jew joke?
I typically am pretty thrifty, though. I'm somewhat stereotypical in that regard.
You're half thrifty.
Fair. But I did not do much shopping on Black Friday, Cyber Monday this year.
I failed. I think that's why I'm hating on it, because I failed.
You just missed it.
I fucking forgot. And then I checked my email the next day and had 7,000 emails. But that part is really out of control. Stop emailing us. We know it's on sale.
Ooh,
Holy shit.
One thing I wanted to bring up, the big difference between like in-person Black Friday shopping and online is that now they're getting, like, let's say you just make one purchase, now they have your data.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to get emails, like you said, for the next 15 Black Fridays until you remember to unsubscribe.
I'm sure that the young people have solved this problem or don't believe in email or something. I'd be curious to hear from anybody. If you're 18 years old, this sounds weird, but if you're 18 years old, hit me up. Because I want to hear what you have to say about this. Do y'all even fuck with email? Because like mine is so broken. It is such a broken system. Or is it that y'all have installed some young non-boomer tech that automatically filters out all the spam, so you're not getting absolutely flooded every day? I get such an outrageous amount of emails. I spend most of my time in there unsubscribing from things. Mm-hmm. And then by the end, I'm so angry that I haven't actually accomplished any work. And then I don't want to go back. And then so sometimes I just don't. And then I miss important stuff like Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And now I'm pissed.
I think that they're probably like me and they're on their phone so much that they're zero inboxers, where you monitor everything that comes in. All it takes is like 2 times a day too. 2 times a day. But then I'll still have 40 emails in those two times.
A word of warning, Jared. Once you lose it, man, it's hard to battle back. And I for years and years and years, and I've spoke about it before on the show, we used to rip on these people. Like, how do you have 7,000 emails? I was on the other side of this fence, man. With you, I was where you are.
You used to be, I remember this. You used to be a zero inboxer.
A zero inboxer. And then one day, like, it was during the pandy at one point, 2020, early 2020, it was over. Like, I had completely lost the fight. It was an insurmountable lead. There is no 28-3 comeback to be had here. There's not going to be a day where I wake up and my inbox is clean unless I literally hire somebody. Like, we have to grow the company large enough to where we can afford to hire somebody for like $30,000 a year to just work on my email inbox for like a full year. They'll have to be a contract worker for a full year, Jared. So that's our next goal. Build the company to that large. So my email can be free again.
How are we gonna get this person? Because they're gonna email about the job and then you're not gonna see it.
I don't know. At some point, do you think technological communication devolves intentionally?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who use like tactile, like Nokia brick phones now because they're like, I don't want to have email with me all the time.
Overexposure.
Yes. Which I would do if I could.
I've started to feel this draw more and more, right? Same. Dude, honestly, if this wasn't my career, it's a change I would have made a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Once I started to really notice how unhealthy social media is, especially for people who are just fucking like obsessed with most of the things being thrown at them on. I guess that's all of us because of the algo. The algo's got us. The algorithm. If you don't know what algo is, algo makes it sound friendly when it's not.
Algo
it's
anywhere with you.
It is God. It is the God from Westworld. But what was I saying? Star Trek.
Oh, we're gonna hire somebody to run your email.
But yeah, mine is. It's just done. It's over.
Cooked.
Cannot be saved. Cannot be brought back. And those are my Black Friday, Cyber Monday takes after I failed to capitalize on any of the rare, once-in-a-lifetime opportunities that were presented to us, the American public.
Is it possible that your email is just dehydrated?
It is possible that it might just need, Jared, a Liquid IV. And today's episode of RBP is brought to you by Liquid IV. Cooler weather makes it easier to miss signs of dehydration like overheating or perspiration, which means it's even more important to keep your body properly hydrated. Flu season in full swing. Proper hydration and vitamins can help support a strong immune system. Everybody knows this. Have you heard this? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Making hydration a priority helps us feel healthier on a day-to-day basis and fuels us to be our highest potential. Jared and I love these little Liquid IVs. The sticks of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrate faster and more efficiently than water alone. You just like shake up the little stick, tear the top off, pour it in the. I give it a shake beforehand. I'm a shaker.
I don't do that.
I do that, and then I pour it in there, and then I stir it with a spoon. Usually, that's my method.
Well,
and then I put it down.
That's a good way to do it. I don't think they recommend dry scooping it, just putting it in your mouth. They do want you to mix it with 16 ounces of water.
That's why I said I pour it in there.
Yeah. I'm just. Some people might be, like, can I save the water? And like, no, it kind of defeats the purpose because.
You need the water. You need
obviously.
the water. 16 ounces. That's why I said you put it in 16 ounces of water. You silly idiot. Are you going to enjoy a few extra drinks now that the holidays are approaching? Probably.
Yes.
A lot of you are. This is what you need to stay hydrated. Grab your favorite Liquid IV flavors nationwide at Walmart, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code ROSS at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order when you get better hydration today using promo code ROSS at liquidiv.com. Really is phenomenal. We love Liquid IV. They've been a supporter for a long time. 25% off is a great deal. This makes a great stocking stuffer.
Oh, yeah.
This holiday season. If you're like, what the hell do I get for my parents? My mom is like hooked on these. She loves Liquid IV. Her whole fucking, like, she has no food for me to eat. When I open the pantry in her kitchen, it's just Liquid IV. And I'm like, okay, Mom, I've got these back at the office because they send us boxes of them. Frankly, we have a lot here.
Have you seen the newest special flavor?
What is it?
Caramel apple.
Wow, holiday-esque
Yes.
Liquid IV flavor.
A nice, like, that's the kind of treat that I usually get at like a fall fair, you know? It's kind of crisp outside. You go ride the whirly goo in the dingly hopper, and you get a caramel apple.
Get sucked off on the Ferris wheel.
It tastes just like a caramel apple.
Wait, the ad read's over, right? I
Yeah,
can say
ad read's
that, right?
over.
Okay, good.
It tastes just like a caramel apple.
Yeah.
So good.
Speaking of the fair, and earlier we started to venture into the metaverse and backed out, thankfully. Well, now we have to go back in, Jared. You seen what the company formerly known as Facebook's new commercial for their rebrand as Meta?
Don't say Meta.
Meta?
Meta. Like Meta World Peace.
Meta. Yeah, Meta. Sorry. Meta. You've seen the commercial, correct?
Yeah. It's funky.
Yeah, I don't remember what I was watching. I feel like it was something everybody... Oh, it was NFL football. Because I was like, Jesus, everybody just saw that? And I got on Twitter, and it turned out everybody had seen it. Because Meta aired their first commercial after the rebrand, and it's basically like 5 Gen Z kids of assorted races and flavors and religions and ethnicities, and they're very, very diverse. Let me put it that way. In an art museum, looking at a fucking painting of some kind, which just the initial setup is already not good, just from like an optics standpoint. Like you're telling me you don't want these kids in the art museum? You want them at the metaverse on the interwebs instead. And I get it. And we're going to get to this, the argument. What is the metaverse? Is it good? Is it bad? Has Ross been there? Has Jared been there? We're going to talk about that. But in the commercial, the setup itself already is kind of negative, like a negative connotation where I'm like, whoa, man, you want to take kids out of the art museum. Like, them kids were already cool. You did not need to fuck with this. So they're looking at this painting, and the painting, like, starts to move, and, like, the lion in the painting is like, get in here and dance with me, or something fucking weird like that. And they almost play, like, the Animal of the Week music from our podcast, which is really weird. And, like... So this bizarre scene unfolds, basically like sucking these kids in almost, but they're just watching it through the painting. It looks insane, and it ends with, "This is going to be fun," pops up on the screen. You know how Apple used to have real simple messaging at the end of their commercials, and it was very effective? This is almost off that, but "this is going to be fun" is all it says. And it somehow almost comes off as a threat. I don't know how that's possible. That nobody watched this and saw, like, it's that the culture, I imagine, at the top of Meta is pretty bought in, right?
Well, yeah.
And in this case, man, this one is just, like, if you're not already a massive tech geek, there is nothing about this commercial except fear to be had.
I need to give my main takes here.
Give them.
I've been interested in the metaverse long before stupid Zuckerberg.
I think you were into it before we knew exactly what it was even called, and technically so was I, and we'll get to that in a minute. But, like, for instance, you talked about when you bought a digital racehorse on this show.
I did. I bought a digital racehorse. Its name was Waste Not, Want Not. We ended up breeding her.
What do you mean its name was?
Well, we sold it for glue. No, we did sell it for Ethereum.
Which is basically glue.
Pretty much. It's gas, I'll tell you that much. For anybody who has ever... Anybody deep into Ethereum understands that joke.
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice. But Anyways, not only did I own a digital racehorse as an investment / fun thing in the metaverse, I owned some metaverse tokens. I had Sand and I had Mana.
Also not financial advice.
And again, this was all a while back. So I listened to this, not financial advice. I listened to this podcast from this dude Piers Kicks and Raul Pal, and they were talking all about the freaking metaverse.
When was this?
Probably like in June. July.
Okay, so not that long ago.
No.
It's not like it was 2019. You
let's
were in
say
the
May.
dark web making meta kitties or something.
Let's say May.
Okay.
May sounds good. And so anyways, I bought some metaverse tokens. Well, I ended up selling all this at break even because the metaverse wasn't really doing anything. Lo and behold,
If you're listening and you're like, what the hell is a metaverse token? I don't know either. Just hold on.
just a crypto token for metaverse related protocols, essentially. And
It didn't help me either. Don't worry.
the whole point is, if I had known Mark Zuckerberg would make the biggest social media company in the world and then turn it into a metaverse company, I would have held on to those because one of the tokens that I sold at break even 15x'd after I sold it.
Damn. Well, everything is a metaverse company, technically.
Ooh, I like that.
But Zuckerberg and this name change is indicative of just how big he thinks it will be. And it really, since his name change, he has, I think you could argue it spurred the growth of the metaverse substantially from being sort of this off, subject thing that, again, only the geekiest of geeks would even be discussing. Freaks and psychos online buying fucking pretend horses and selling them for glue and e-coins. And then now it's this household thing where you're seeing the commercial on NFL Sunday, man. And they're obviously going to spend a lot of money marketing this.
Yeah.
Facebook hasn't been cool in fucking 15 years. And this is their first real shot at rebranding to something that people can be excited about, especially young people. Young people haven't been fucking with Facebook since I was young people. It's been a minute, man. When's the last time you checked your Facebook messages, bro?
It's the only social media app I no longer have on my phone.
I don't have it on my phone either. Jared and I are content creators. Do you understand how big of a deal that is? We don't even use their fucking platform because it's useless. That's bad. This is their first chance to get back into a positive space for people like me even. Now, that's probably not possible if I'm being honest because I'm such an anti-Zuckerberg person at this point. I just do not trust the man.
Well, this is literally, if you want to go and zoom out to the 10,000 foot view,
Do it.
this is all just them trying to market Oculus, their VR/AR system.
Which will be used in the metaverse.
Yes.
Which is essentially, if you're still like, God damn it, Jared, just tell us, what is the metaverse? It's like, and you can correct me where I'm wrong here, Jared. Not when I'm wrong, where I'm wrong. It's like when Fortnite came out, and I was playing Fortnite for hours a day. I was existing in a virtual world, and I was spending real world money, dollars, on Fortnite coins so that I could get Fortnite outfits. And fucking, that is stupid, admittedly, and makes sense to very few of you listening. I understand that, unless you're younger and were born into the generation that accepts this type of behavior that I have now been sucked down into somehow. That was a metaverse activity that I didn't know was a metaverse activity. But if you're outfitting yourself with digital clothing and using digital currency to purchase that clothing and for hours on end presenting yourself to a digital world wearing that clothing that you bought using that currency, that is a metaverse activity. It's essentially the virtual world. It's
Yes.
the non-physical world.
The digital world.
The digital world.
Now,
the
currently,
internet world.
Metaverse, it's a bit of a, it's a bit misleading because there's not currently a metaverse. Right now, there's a bunch of metaverse projects, none of which, or very few of which, are actually linked to each other. For example, if you buy a hat in Decentraland, which is a very popular metaverse, you can't have that hat then in Sandbox, which is a different metaverse. There's not cross-metaverse NFTs.
Now,
yet.
the
now
things
they're working
that Jared
on
just
this.
called out are individual platforms where things like Oculus or other technologies that exist allow you to interface with their metaverse that they have built for you that has X amount of things you can do.
Yeah.
Right? So if you spend money in one of them, what Jared is saying is it doesn't translate to the other, whatever you bought.
Yes.
And it's obviously, it's the same situation we've had with video games where cross-platform from Xbox to PlayStation to PC, It doesn't work very well.
So this, I think, is what Zuck is angling at. Oh, look at the metaverse. We know that the world is going to move to be very, very digital. I mean, the world right now, you could argue, is like 10% digital, maybe. Because, like, yes, you are looking at your phone a lot, but, like, you're still in the real world. Your body is still in the actual regular universe. But once you put the headset on and everything...
Yeah, but you could make the argument that the only thing that matters is what occupies your mind space. So there are a lot of people that say, "Nah, like I bet for a lot of people it's 90% of their life."
Which is crazy.
The 10% of their life that's in reality is eating and shitting and pissing and maybe coming and probably not.
So I think Zuck is trying to make Meta be the central hub for the metaverse. Now here's the funny thing about the metaverse, right? The metaverse inherently is part of Web 3.0, which is another buzzword you're going to hear all the time right now. But the whole entire point of Web 3.0 is you take the internet, you take out all the middlemen, and you have it be completely decentralized. So Mark Zuckerberg's whole idea here is to completely centralize
the idea of decentralization.
Yes.
Yeah, decentralization online. And even more, I guess, villainously, the name change is just piggybacking on something that, frankly, he has no rights to.
100%. That's the most egregious part of all of this.
The part that he just went, oh shit, the metaverse is the next wave. We're going to change our company's name that everyone hates and associates with evil data stealing and election rigging and privacy fraud. We're going to change the name to Meta.
It's literally like Justin Timberlake.
To just ride it. What the fuck?
Justin Timberlake came in and turned around and was like, hey, take out the verse.
And I'm not even sure that's fucking
that far
insane.
off.
It's like Bezos being like, we're changing the name of our company to Internet or something. I don't even know. It's a bizarre move that now I'm seeing the framework for, obviously, as the commercial comes out, that every stoned person watching had a panic attack during. And I'm also realizing now that Dave Chappelle invented the metaverse when he did the mall version of the internet, and also that skit has to have inspired Bo Burnham's Welcome to the Internet.
I think Jeff Bridges invented the metaverse with Tron.
I think he was in the remake. So yeah, I have been definitely unwittingly in the metaverse, and more so than Fortnite. That was like more of a goofy example. For real, with some of the other games I play, Apex Legends in particular, there's real world currency occasionally being spent on like the battle pass every season, or every once in a while there'll be something that they tempt my dumb ass to spend $3 on because I'm like, fuck, I really want that, and I'm here a lot. And that's the thing where you start to cross over. I'm here a lot. I want this to be aesthetically pleasing. I want to be wearing something that I think is tight. Not only that, I'm making clips from it and putting it on social media for my work as well. It's like, but that's neither here nor there. It becomes a part of your reality.
Yeah, you bring up a good point about you spending real world money. A big part of how the metaverse is going to be different from, say, Fortnite coins and Apex Legends coins is that it's a two-way street. You can put money in to buy a fucking hat, and then you can sell that hat for the currency and then take that currency back out into United States dollars or whatever currency you like to operate in. I don't shame here. So
we do not currency shame. That is very important to remember about our show. We may accidentally on occasion fat shame or even kink shame, but we do not ever, Jared, currency shame.
Never. So that's a big thing. A lot of companies aren't willing to do that because they're like, haha, we just got you to buy a fucking picture of a cane that your character uses to chop down a tree. That's yours now, idiot. You can't do shit. And so obviously it's a bad business model to let people, because you don't know when people are going to sell, you don't know when they're going to dump. Oh shit, there's a new game coming out. Let's sell all our stuff in this game.
Now, if you're listening and you're playing some game where this isn't the case, obviously there's some exceptions, but none of the mainstream games. Warzone, Call of Duty, Vanguard, all these ones you hear about that the kids are Fortnite, Apex Legends, Halo. You're putting money in, and that money is never, ever, ever coming back. It is not coming back. Nobody's buying any of this shit from you. Nobody cares. It has no value. You have literally just taken it and lit it on fire. And I say this as someone who does this with a fair degree of regularity. Just saying, to your point, it's some of the games have set it up, though, to where, because there's people like you who know about this shit that I don't, where there's other games where you can't, where there is a good market for selling and buying items. Rocket League
Axie
sometimes.
Infinity
Don't people on Rocket League do this shit?
Yeah, but that's all set. The game doesn't let you do that.
Oh,
You have
okay.
to like go and trade
You have to
people.
go.
But Axie Infinity, and then now we're getting into play to earn games, which is absolutely not going to get into because that's way too deep.
It's a totally different deal. It just would be too long of a conversation, frankly. But yeah, so it's like, but conceptually, these things I'm bringing up, the video game side of it, that's easy to understand for adults like me, is a metaverse of sorts.
Yes,
right.
And the easiest way to think about it is when we were young, we would go to GameStop, pay $50, buy a physical copy of the CD, and then do whatever the fuck we wanted with it. You could resell that to somebody, whatever. You could sell it back to GameStop for pennies on the dollar if you feel like it. And then games switched over to being freemium. Oh, Warzone, it's free. It's totally free to play. If you want to look dope, you can buy shit, but it's totally free to play. And they fund themselves based on, people buying those things. And then the future...
But really, if you want access to the full game, you have to pay for the Battle Pass kind of, if you, like... There's levels to it, but yes, it's freemium in that anybody can download the game. Right now, Halo is freemium. I downloaded the new Halo Infinity. I play it all the time on Twitch. It's fun as hell. I love it. It's reminiscent of my, high school days or whatever, playing Halo with my boys. And, yeah, you can spend money in that motherfucker like crazy on dumb shit if you wanted to. But it's free to download, which is another slippery slope because kids...
Oh, God. Think about how many millions of dollars have been spent by kids without the parents knowing.
Ever since the App Store became a thing, man, back in the day. Really the internet. But yeah, it's bad. It's really, really, really bad. And I mean, you've heard lots of horror stories about parents whose kids spent $37,000 on their credit card on Fortnite and shit like that. Yeah. Like, there's crazy, crazy stuff that has happened.
Do you remember the congressman who spent a bunch of money on games and blamed his son?
Oh, my God. What a fucking asshole. Actually... This also brings up another thing that's related, NFTs, which sort of parallel with the metaverse. NFTs are this new thing that we've obviously spent some time talking about, but that is in this new batch of words that are all over social media and all over online journalism that people are seeing and going, what? And then when they read about it, they go, that doesn't make any sense to me. Similarly to like Bitcoin in some cases or crypto or whatever. We had one of our listeners, Cody, tweeted us, why haven't you sold an NFT yet? I'm sure your subscribers would buy. And I quote tweeted him, NFT of me out back spanking Jared's tight little ass dropping Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. And then somebody already replied, when can I pre-order? But NFTs being digital art. It's an art that exists digitally that is, we don't have to get into all how NFTs work again, but just suffice it to say, it's art in the digital world that like you would be able to display in the metaverse, for example.
Yeah, the big joke with NFTs is, I could just screenshot it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you could also just take a photocopy of the Mona Lisa and hang it up in it's not the same thing.
People do it all the time.
And anybody,
you know how many people have, what are they called? Prints of the Mona Lisa in their home? Millions.
It's not the Mona Lisa. It's a
That
print.
is not the Mona Lisa, and nobody goes into their home and goes, holy shit, dude. You have the Mona Lisa?
Yeah.
Because no, that's not how art works. And it's similarly, like now, for those of you who are like, but it's a digital, it's like, yes, but what is the difference?
Literally
At this
nothing.
point, what is the difference?
Oh, the guy touched it? The guy touched the canvas? Okay, I'll go touch the fucking screen.
Yeah, and it gets into a really weird space where it's the combination of the internet into our reality. And there's a lot of arguments and philosophical
digital property
conversations
rights
taking place about what that means and how healthy or unhealthy it is, or if it isn't either. Maybe it just is the next thing that happens and there's no stopping it, sort of thing. And I think that's more in the camp I'm in. Now it's up to us to control how that goes. Mm-hmm. But I think it is a thing no matter what. It is similarly to crypto, in my opinion, it is an inevitability. It is not a question of if. It is a question of how fucking quickly.
And then that being said, and this is not financial advice, but it's close.
It's not though.
It's not though. Just because Ross and I both think that NFTs are definitely the future, do not go invest.
That's not what I said.
You don't think NFTs are the future? Are part of the future?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I do.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
NFTs are here to stay.
Yes.
That doesn't mean every NFT that you go and buy that's being shilled by shitty rappers
No. Just like with crypto, there are still bubbles.
Yes.
There's a million faulty and phony versions of crypto coins that are a nightmare.
Do your research.
Same shit with NFTs. Absolutely. just like with real world art, if you're not buying something that will be coveted later on for a higher price, you're not investing.
In sneakers, too.
Yeah, but if it depends on if you're a wearer or a collector.
True.
I wear all my shoes, so like their resale value is significantly lower. I have no intention of ever reselling them unless things really get bad, which then I'll hit the feet people up because they're first in line and pay the highest prices. But yeah, it's this really complex topic that's going to become a more and more prevalent part of our lives over the next couple years. That is ridiculous, and that Zuckerberg could not have kickstarted in a creepier way with this commercial. That all of us that are just think about that audience, man. That's Schlitterbahn. That's like you putting on a big screen at Schlitterbahn at a fucking water park in the summertime, where everybody's fucking shoving giant Cinnabons down their throats, covered in
pecans
and drizzly ooze. And Dippin' Dots and beers, they're all shit-faced with their guts out, and you put it up on the screen, and you played this commercial, they would all scream and run for the hills. What the fuck are you thinking, Zuckerberg? He just has no feel for what the humans have going anymore, man. He's been in the metaverse since... He is the metaverse.
He was born in the metaverse.
Molded by it. Sweet baby Rays. That fucking viral... TikTok or Reel or whatever of Zuckerberg in the metaverse offering you Sweet Baby Rays. Have you seen this yet?
No.
Oh, I have to send it to you. It's somebody being offered Sweet Baby Rays in the metaverse by Mark Zuckerberg, and it's like, nod to accept. And they don't accept, and so Zuckerberg murders them with a knife. It's so fucking good, dude. I mean, look, it is admittedly so obvious. Like at this point, it's almost like if you go back and watch movies from 20 years ago, human technological use is following the trend that Hollywood set. It's just like the tech billionaires are just going, oh, fuck, I just watched Terminator. Now I have the idea to build the company in Terminator, which is like 3 of the 6 tech billionaires in your head right now. And it's not great. It doesn't seem good. I feel scared for later, and I don't think I'll be here to see the full on Matrix version of where we're all plugged into fucking tanks and some spaceship. Bezos is already just jacking off to me talking right now because this is his future that he wants so bad. Did you hear the other? He was like, "Yeah, there's only going to be an exclusive number of motherfuckers allowed to stay on Earth. Sorry." It's going to be a resort. Everybody else is going to be in space in my camps, plugged in to the machines, like I'm talking about right now. I'm paraphrasing, allegedly. But I don't think I'll be around, man. I think that's going to take a few more lifetimes, before it's removed enough to where it's like this dystopian internet reality that everybody right now living is shaking in their boots, pissing themselves over. So, you know, but for the kids or whatever, like, I'm not really looking forward to having to spend money on like a fucking e-pony at some point or whatever.
My God.
What the fuck? I'm already such a dumbass, dude. Like, the things that I spend my money on are by definition idiotic. Like, I buy fucking shoes and internet outfits for my video game characters. That's pretty much it at this point. In terms of personal, like, choices I'm making with my dough.
You bring up a good point, though.
I also bought a Tesla I can't drive. It is nice, though. It looks good.
My offer still stands. Pennies on the dollar.
Thank you, Jared.
So what's...
I'm turning it into an NFT, so I'm going to make my money back.
Speaking of NFTs, have you heard of Uke NFTs?
What? Is this a sponsor? No. What is it?
Uke NFTs lips.
Oh, my fucking... Wait, Uke... What?
Uke NFTs lips.
But what is it the joke? What is the joke?
You can F my lips.
F. Oh, F.
Uh-huh.
Oh. Terrible.
Yeah. But the point you brought up that I wanted to elaborate on, well, not elaborate, more so postulate, I would say. There's going to be people who go, screens and the internet are not good for kids. I'm going to keep my kid away from all this shit. And then you're going to have the kids whose whole lives are on screens, and they're getting digital ponies when they're 4. They're getting a first digital beer when they're 16 with their dad.
Dude,
like, what the fuck?
One of the guys I follow on Twitter, I told you this the other day. We talked on another episode about this. I can't remember if it was Patreon or not. And if you're not on Patreon and that was on Patreon, it's a bummer. He's got his kid playing video games like I would have my dad had me out back playing baseball. Like he's legit, like his kid loves video games. So he's like his dad obviously has a healthy relationship with this idea of the internet in the future and where all this is going. And he's in the camp you're talking about where, I mean, he's all in. This kid's going to be fucking internet everything, man. He's like Twitch streamer when he's like 6 or whatever. Then there are going to be the parents who are like, absolutely not. Absolutely no way we are letting you get a Fortnite account or get what are some of the metaverses you mentioned? Decentraland house. You cannot get an apartment in Decentraland, little Sally. Okay? Decentraland isn't safe. There's a high crime rate. We've seen the numbers. We're not letting you live there.
Now you got me thinking about like assault in the metaverse.
Yep, it's
bar fights.
So the obvious like bell curve, right, is that you build this other world where then all of the exact same activities, and that's the Bo Burnham line. Going for a drive and obeying all the traffic laws in Grand Theft Auto 5, because you were playing that video game for fun. And then you did that so much that it wasn't fun anymore, and you were just like, well, fuck it. It'll be kind of funny if I follow the traffic signs. And then you have that moment where you realize, why am I not just driving my car outside in the real world? And there's this drop-off, this disconnect from obviously where we should be and where we're going, or where we already are. And I don't know what that, like, look, I'm obviously aging. Liberal hippie douche. Mm-hmm. I'm 34. If I was 14, this would be a totally different conversation, but I'm not.
Yeah, you're a mega douche.
I'm an old man, and I don't know what because like the way my grandma can't use a cell phone, that she doesn't know how to use an iPhone because she wasn't raised with phone the phone wasn't even invented when she was young. She's 300 years old. I don't know when the phone was invented, so I went long. But I don't want to be, Jared, I don't want to be ancient and completely disconnected from just, that's only a 2-generation gap. And now, granted, you have to remember, it's different for that gap because they did not have the internet at all. And I grew up on the internet pretty much from like when I was 10 or whatever. So it is a little different for everybody who got a cell phone when they were 3 and the internet already existed and their parents are streaming everything all the time and getting pads when they're 7 or whatever. Like, I didn't have that experience, but I do feel like there's still going to be this big gap between me and at that point. Like, there's just, it's hard to keep up.
It is.
And the older you get, the more weird responsibilities you have. Like, parents listening are like, bro, I couldn't care less. I've got to pay my bills. I've got taxes coming up. I've got 3 kids. I'm about to lose my job. There are a multitude of reasons. Not everybody can spend their time online just fucking Googling about the metaverse and jacking off Zuckerberg.
For a lot of people, it's mental health related.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, this isn't exactly my favorite place to go. Now, I love talking about it on the show. It's not my favorite place to go read things about online, honestly, because it's depressing as fuck. Like, it makes me feel... For people who deal with mental health issues, disconnection is the problem a lot of the time. You don't want to feel disconnected from everybody and disconnected from yourself and disconnected from the world. And this is literally that by choice, which is just such an odd thing for people who fight for the connection to the real world every day to have. And then it's also at the same time something that can honestly be utilized as a healthy practice to lessen mental health issues. And if you do it right, it's like with anything, right? There will be times where if I go play a video game for 30, 45 minutes and get off, not come, but get off, then I feel a lot better. Like, it's like I went out and shot, and you have fun for 20, 30 minutes. That's a good thing regardless of what the circumstances. Well, that's not true. You don't want to be, if you have fun murdering small animals, you shouldn't be doing that. Stop. You're also going to need to seek a psychiatrist immediately, as you are very likely to become a serial killer in your older age. But that's another topic for another day, Jared. NFT's nuts. Anyway, what?
Well, we were talking about mental health.
Oh, yeah, what about it?
We have a great sponsor.
We do. Today's episode of RBP is also brought to you by Talkspace, the easiest and most effective way for you to get positive growth going in your life today. Meeting with a therapist to work on your mental health is just as helpful as hiring a personal trainer to work on your physical health. They should be taken just as seriously, and the positive impact can be just as life-changing. Talkspace makes it possible to speak with a licensed therapist right from your phone, tablet, or computer. And unlike traditional therapy, you can message your therapist anytime via text or voice. It's 100% secure and stigma-free, the way therapy should be. I've been in therapy for just over 10 years now, a full decade, and I credit it with the vast majority of personal growth and success that I've experienced. I credit myself, obviously, and my willingness to go as a big part of it. And that's where, for a lot of people, there can be a bit of a gap. They don't want to take the time to have to go to a doctor and wait in the waiting room and then answer awkward questions in person or anything, or talk about some of the most difficult subjects that we have to talk about as people in person with somebody, and I can understand that. So whether you struggle with anxiety, depression, self-doubt, or anything else, Talkspace gives you access to the help you need to move forward from wherever you are. And that's what's important, that you can get help when you need it, whatever the circumstances. Facing obstacles in life is not easy. When you do it alone, you don't get a prize for doing it alone either, is the important lesson that I've learned. Getting professional help isn't weird. It doesn't make you weak. It's smart. Right? Your friend might know a thing or two about electricity, but would you let them rewire your house? No. So don't leave your mental health to chance or amateur advice of well-meaning friends and family, because as much as they can be places you get support, friends and family also are not doctors trained in how to help you if you're dealing with a serious mental health issue. So talk to someone who's trained to help you make lasting progress. Join Talkspace today. Start moving forward with a single message. Just visit Talkspace.com and get $100 off your first month when you use the promo code RBP at sign up. That's $100 off at Talkspace.com. Promo code RBP. In sad news, after a 2-year battle with a rare heart cancer, cardiac angiosarcoma, Virgil Abloh, one of the world's most renowned creatives, passed away at 41 earlier this week. He was the creative director of Louis Vuitton menswear, as well as the founder of his own brand, Off-White, of which I actually have a photo from Ricky Prosper. Ricky's an artist who designed almost all of our logos now at Bolen Media. And he sent me some art to hang up in our studio that I got to pick from, and one of them was an Off-White Jordan 1, designed by Virgil Abloh, with a little plant in it. Ricky put the plant. The plant doesn't come with the shoe if you buy the shoe, to my knowledge anyway. So the point is, Off-White is very well known, especially if you're into hip-hop or streetwear or fashion in any sense at this point, because it went from like people being like, oh, that's not even original, he writes on the Nikes that already exist and straps a red tag on them, to, oh, that guy's running Louis Vuitton and these resell for $40,000 or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
wasn't Brooks Koepka like wearing Off-White golf shoes during a tournament at one point?
I think he may have been. I didn't see that personally, but that would not shock me at all. It is a very well-known brand now that has very much broken through to the mainstream, and then even more so after he became the creative director or the artistic director of Louis Vuitton menswear. But this is a guy that if you've been paying attention to, basically, if you were a huge Kanye or Drake fan, you would have been aware on some level of Virgil. And he came up with Kanye in Chicago, and they were like interns together at Fendi or Prada or one of the design houses at some point in 2009, long ago. These dudes were like very close friends that came up together, and there was also conflict. And at one point, Drake accused Kanye of actually stifling Virgil's career because he saw him as a threat to his creative genius, which wouldn't shock me at all. Kanye is very egotistical at times, or has been in the past. It's just, this is a guy that became one of the most influential creative people on the planet in a very, very, very short time frame, and not in the way that you traditionally see that done. When you think of like the biggest celebrities, you think of like sports players or musicians mostly, right? And this guy was a designer, and he designed a shit ton of your favorite rapper and musicians like album covers. He did the Watch the Throne cover. I didn't even know that until after he passed away. Watch the Throne is probably a top 5 album all time to me. Top 3 maybe. Sometimes it's number 1. Did not know he did the album cover. But he was a genius. And it's pretty rare that you see somebody pass away and they're just universally considered to be a creative genius. Like I'm on Twitter, man, where the hate seeps through. And I'm not seeing a whole lot of like, oh, this is overrated, Virgil's overrated. Like, that's not even a thing anymore. He broke through every hater's boundaries because he just didn't stop. I mean, he did so much different shit. He was the creative director of Kanye's Donda at one point. He's being posthumously named named the creative director of Donda again, which I'm not sure you're just allowed to do that. But it's neither here nor there. The guy was everywhere. He did so much, and it turns out that he found out a couple years ago, obviously, that he had this cancer. He's been fighting it ever since, and the inspirational thing that I've noticed from his passing, the most inspirational part, is that everyone I've seen speaking out on him that really knew him and that really spoke with him with some degree of regularity couldn't stop talking about how positive he was, how he responded to every message with enthusiasm. He was always there for everybody, and that is impossible to do. That's so fucking hard, and he did it with a rare deadly cancer, and probably for at least a time there, knowing he was on the way out, right? That's the most inspirational piece to me, is that he maintained positivity and he kept dominating every single industry he was involved in, which was like a few at that. I mean, the amount of shit he was doing in fashion alone is astounding. And the way he influenced, I mean, I'll read you a little bit from this New York Times piece just to give you a better, they're pretty good with words, by Vanessa Friedman. Virgil Abloh, path-blazing designer, is dead at 41. His expansive approach to design inspired comparisons to artists including Andy Warhol and Jeff Koons. For him, clothes were totems of identity. Later, she continues, Mr. Abloh transformed not just what consumers wanted to wear, bridging hypebeast culture and the luxury world, but what brands wanted in a designer and the meaning of fashion itself. He was kind of the first guy to be able to take street culture and like urban fashion trends and put them into the mainstream to the point that eventually Louis calls and says, will you be the artistic director of our menswear department?
He is also one of the greatest alums of my very own university, University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Is that so?
Yep.
Huzzah.
Yep.
How about that? But yeah, those are, bold words. That he changed the meaning of fashion itself. That's a hell of a statement. And look, privately battling cancer is not something I'm capable of fathoming. I am a public battler. I haven't privately battled a single thing since Twitter was invented. At 27 years old, I privately battled constipation for 2 days, but that was it. And it is so crazy to me. It almost makes me angry I'm like, man, none of y'all better do that to me. Have cancer for 2 years and not tell me, and then I don't get to say bye or whatever. Like, fuck that. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. If somebody told me I was, I was on my way out, would I want everybody to treat me differently the rest of my experience on this planet? Because that's it. I'm only getting a couple, however many, whatever the time frame is. Do I want everybody to look at me completely differently and treat me completely every single interaction I have? And I don't think I would.
Yeah, I don't think I would either.
Fuck that.
Chadwick Boseman, same
thing, man. He didn't. I think he was a several-year battle even.
Yeah.
But yeah, two very inspirational, iconic American black men that we lost and that suffered in silence basically and kept it to themselves and continued to put out their best work and inspire millions and millions of people to the bitter end. And that is just so admirable. On top of that, like, I've been a big fan of this dude. When I first saw the shoes, I thought the same thing everybody else did. And the same thing I think every time Kanye does anything. Well, that's the fucking stupidest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, but then when it's like, look, art is about getting people to look at things from a different angle. Getting people to change the way they think about something they've already seen. Or something they see every day. That's art. He found that in the most basic possible form with the Sharpie and the little red tag. And starting in something's most basic possible form gives you the ability to build from there. And I think he took that idea that, you know, kind of was the thing that sparked his career to its ridiculous heights initially. And he was able to learn everything about fashion and art. Because like I saw Tyler, the Creator, who's one of my favorite creatives creating currently, speaking on Virgil and saying that this dude could look at anything and tell you how it would be better. Whether it was a plane wing, like they apparently at one point must have been in a plane together, and he looked over and told them why this plane's panel, the hue of this panel on the wing should have been some other Pantone or something. And he wasn't ever wrong. Like it was an improvement. That's creative genius, that he could look at something and tell you how to make it better, or how to make it cooler, or how to make it pop more, how to make it more interesting. And that's hard to do. It's hard to be. And it's hard to get people who consider themselves to be the smartest people in the world, like Kanye, to give credit. Kanye gives credit to very few people. I once heard him say that he doesn't take advice from anyone less successful than him. And he doesn't read. Which was the Trumpiest thing he ever did, much more so than putting on the red hat. When he told the world he didn't read, I was like, bro, you keep that to your fucking self. I don't read either, but shut the fuck up. You don't tell people that. I don't read books, but I do want to be president of the United States. Why is that a common theme? It's narcissism. You have to be a narcissist. You have to think you're so smart that you don't even need books. That's the attitude that Kanye has usually. So I saw the pictures of him and Kim reunited and somehow making this about them and Pete Davidson, which upset me a little bit. But, and I mean, you know, him paying his respects there with everybody else, it was very cool to see. I'm not sure why. Every headline I saw was like, Kim and Kanye take break from Pete Davidson drama to honor Virgil. And I'm like,
it's not really honoring him if you're
like
making
Pete's got to
yeah.
see that and be like, oh, this is what they meant. This is what my friends were saying when they were warning me about not doing this. These were the kind of headlines I was going to get dragged into. Yeah, that's not fun at all. But anyway, it's obviously a terribly sad story. He was married and had children that he's left behind as well. I'm not going to say T's and P's, but I want to really badly. How do you end a segment like this? I never know.
For Formula One, the Formula One F1 show, I always just say rest in peace and then the name.
How often do you have to discuss a dead driver?
I mean, a lot.
I guess there's a lot of historical ones to get through. You in that phase of Formula Bone right now? If you told me this, I might have been in.
It comes up.
Huge fan of death and destruction. I'm just kidding. Don't like car wrecks, man.
Yeah.
I saw one of those, like, at some point somebody on YouTube was like, you got to see this. And I saw, like, one of those crazy all-time F1 wrecks where, you know, people died way back in the day because a car, like, literally flew into the stands or a piece of it. And that was it for me. That might be the main thing keeping me from Drive to Survive still. And now that I've unearthed it and approached it, dealt with it, maybe this weekend, Jared, maybe this is the weekend that it happens for me. But I don't want to tug your dick too much, so we'll see.
It's fine.
Yeah, we'll see. Speaking of Drive to Survive,
you can
want to bet on F1.
Yeah,
you can do that with today's sponsor, MyBookie. It's our sports betting and casino sponsor here at RBP. Everybody's trying to cash in on the next best crypto. But if you want a guaranteed way to double your money, all you need to do is use promo code RBP at MyBookie. It's simple. You sign up at MyBookie.ag with the promo code RBP, and your first deposit is immediately doubled all the way up to $1,000. Stipulations apply. How is that for a quick turnaround on your investment?
It's immediate.
It is. It is very immediate. With the NFL playoff race heating up and college bowl season just around the corner, double your firepower today at MyBookie to get in on the action, the most important games of the season.
Is Texas State getting a bowl berth?
I don't think so, Jared. Build your own props, create multi-game parlays, take part in a host of MyBookie cash prize contests, This is the best time of the year to both watch and bet on sports because you know who the winners are by now. You've been paying attention. You've been locked in this NFL season. You know what's happening this Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. Still can't believe we only have 3. I thought by now we would have expanded to a 4th.
Let's get Wednesday back.
Let's go, Goodell. What the hell? Anyway, bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie at MyBookie.ag using the code RBP to support the show and let them know who sent you when you unlock that deposit bonus today. MyBookie.ag, code RBP. Good luck. Again, they've got all the live lines, prop bets, futures. They've got the casino, the live casino. It's a blast over at MyBookie.ag. Enjoy responsibly. Today, Jared, is one of my least favorite days of the calendar year. To end on a positive note, Spotify Wrapped Day.
I love Spotify
It's my
Wrapped
own
Day.
personal hell.
I love it. Why do you not like it?
I love it because it's an opportunity for people to share our shows and what we do. I love it professionally. As a professional, I adore it. There are not very many. It's tough, man. It's tough to get people to share your content. That's, it's the most challenging part of our job.
Yeah, we have. If you check out our Instagram story today, I have been sharing every single one.
Yeah, because it gets other people to do it, obviously. Yeah. We appreciate y'all, every single one of you who has done it and tagged us, because that shows other people. Like, if you listen to this show for 3,000 minutes or whatever, or 500 hours or 7,200 hours, or I think we saw somebody with 8,000 hours or something. It was mind-melting. How many hours are even in a year? But people will see that, your friends, your family, and they'll say, damn, it must be really good, right? That's a lot of hours. Mm-hmm. And then they'll go and listen. Yep. And that's how shows grow and become successful.
So to that point, I was thinking about this as I was going and resharing every single one that people have been sending. It made me realize, I think that Spotify Wrap Day will be the biggest. It's podcaster Christmas. The more that Spotify takes over the podcasting space, Spotify Wrap Day will be podcaster Christmas.
I think we're yet to see, any real substantial results as a result. The last 7 Spotify Wraps, all they've done is make me feel bad about my own personal music choices. They haven't grown my dick at all. But from a personal standpoint, this is the worst day of the year because nobody cares. That's my personal standpoint. Not every single one of us needs to share our list of music because it's the same fucking thing over and over. Now, the podcasts share away. All of them. Share the podcasts. But oh my God, we know everybody listens to Drake. We get with Certified Lover Boy and Donda, both on. Donda's not on there for anybody. But Certified Lover Boy.
I had Donda Chan on mine.
I mean, there's just not that many. I don't even know. What at this point, what would a cool Spotify Wrapped look like to you?
Do you want me to tell you mine?
Yeah.
Mine looks pretty cool right now.
I haven't done mine, so I don't know what mine is. But no, I'm dead serious. I hate it.
Okay, here's mine. It's pretty good. Top 5 artists from 1st to 5th. Beach Bunny, Churches, Polo and Pan, Maggie Rogers, and Volcano Choir.
Yeah, that's about what I expected.
Top songs. Hello, Hello, Hello by Polo and Pan. Midnight in Harlem by Tedeschi Trucks Band. Comrade by Volcano Choir. To Cure What Ails by Shaky Graves. Small World by Jack Stauber.
Man, I don't know what any of this shit is.
Exactly. That's why I'm a fucking hipster douchebag. Take that.
Try to get mine. How do you pull it up?
You just open Spotify and wait a couple seconds and it should automatically show up. Ross checking out his Spotify Wrapped live on air.
This
is good content.
Your top songs 2020.
Yep.
Oh, what do you click on?
Just fast forward all the way to the end and it'll give you
your year in review. Mute. Stop. Jesus.
Go all the way to the end and then it'll be
Is it
listed.
the last page?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Top artists. Fuck. I'm so basic, bro.
Okay,
I'm
number
just
1, Kanye.
Yes.
Number 2, Drake.
No.
Oh, okay.
J. Cole.
Oh.
Yeah. Mix it up. Nope. My top 3 artists are the most predictable of all time. Kanye, J. Cole, Drake. Number 4, Bo Burnham.
I like that.
Damn, dude.
That's a lot of Bo Burnham.
That's a lot of Bo Burnham, dude. And number 5 is Zero. So that makes me feel a lot better and almost redeemed for the... Actually, you know what? Fuck that. I'm proud of this list. I'm proud of that list. This is the best one I've ever had. I've actually never looked at this before and not hated myself. Today is the first time I've ever looked at my Spotify Wrapped and felt pride. I'm changing my entire take. Wipe it clean. This is one of my favorite days of the year. What a list. Top songs. Number 1, Amari from J. Cole. Number 2, All Eyes on Me from Bo Burnham. Number 3, Street Runner from... Fuck, why is his name slipping my mind right now? And why isn't it just on here, dude?
Yeah, it's very dumb. They need to put the names of the artists.
And now I have to look it up to make sure that I give him full credit because I love him and this is making me... Rod Wave. My God. Pathetic, brain. You were having such a good day. Be nice. Be nice. Rod Wave. Street Runner. And then 4, Hunger on Hillside from J. Cole. And number 5, Go Up. I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's your 5th most listened to song.
How is that possible? Go Up.
Look it up.
Oh, I think it's another J. Cole. I can hear it in my head. go up, go up. Oh, it was Bobby Fino.
Oh, hell
Arian
yeah.
Foster. Holy shit, it made my top 5. That's fucking crazy. I'm going to send him that. I better be stoked. But yeah, so mine are pretty, top genre, Southern hip hop. I mean,
3 of my top 5 genres started with indie. It was like indie pop, indie folk, and indie rock.
I am who I am.
Yep.
At this point, you know what I'm saying?
My two, it gives you like 2 moods that your music fall into. My 2 moods were silly and hopeless romantic.
What?
I have a fiance. Come on.
Where did you see? That's a good category to be in. Hopeless romantic is what you want, Jared. That's good. You fucking be proud of that.
It's earlier in the thing. It's one of the main things in the slides, in the slideshow.
Okay, well. A new episode of Formula Bone is out while I go through this and find more information about my 2021 rap. Jared's going to talk about it now.
I am. So the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix is this weekend, and Max could technically win the World Drivers' Championship. He's not going to, but he could. We have 2 races left, by the way. Only 8 points separate Max and Lewis. It's going to be one of the best ends to a Formula One season of all time. And you can preview this weekend's race with my Saudi Arabian Grand Preview podcast, the Formula Bone F1 show. You can check it out on YouTube and all audio platforms. Ross?
Love that. Formula Bone, wherever you listen to RBP or watch. Yeah, this is depressing. It basically says this year, it literally says this year you did what you had to do. And that shows in your music. And it says the opening, and that's what you have to do in a movie. The opening credits theme of your movie would be Evermore, featuring Bon Iver by Taylor Swift.
Okay. It's a sad movie, I guess.
I don't feel like I want to see that film, man. Literally isn't one of the lines in that song. I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending.
Yeah. It's also a pretty bad opening song.
What the fuck, Spotify?
Maybe like later in the movie.
All right, reverse the take again. While everyone else was trying to figure out NFTs, you had one song on repeat. Your top song of the year was Amari by J. Cole. Good joke, Spotify. Good joke. Where's my... It doesn't tell me anything about you deserve a playlist as long as your skincare routine. Is this a commercial? What the fuck is even... Oh, vibe check.
Yep.
It's time to unveil your audio aura. Here we go. Entering wrapped multi-dimensional mode. Why do they have to be so...
Just get into another dimension,
over
bitch.
the top?
Join the new dimension.
Hype and wistful.
Huh. Wistful.
My aura is blue with a dash of pink. How is that? Zero is in
Holy
my top
fuck.
5.
That's a gender reveal party.
Hype and wistful.
Blue with a dash of pink.
It is blue with a
That's
dash
a
of
fucking
pink.
gender reveal.
My aura is a gender reveal party.
You hate Spotify
It's
again.
not a nice thing to say to a friend and co-host.
I'm just saying. When Spotify said it, I just repeated it.
Anyway, Spotify Rap Day, it is very much like a love-hate situation for me where I love that y'all share the show and I love that other people could possibly find out about, Formula Bone, RBP, Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. By the way, new episode of OCC out as well. If you're watching Succession on HBO, we talked exclusively about episode 7 of Succession's 3rd season, which was one of my favorite episodes of TV, maybe ever. And this season of Succession, while it started in a place that I was pretty worried about where they might be able to go with it, has been so fun. And Barrett and I have a blast. My good friend of like 20 years now, Barrett Dudley, is my co-host on Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, where we've been talking about it. We have a blast discussing every week. So go listen to Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. Go listen to Formula Bone. Follow RBP on TikTok and Instagram at the Ross Bolen Podcast. Be sure to like, share, and comment on clips of our show when you see them on any of those platforms. Follow us on Twitter as well, at Ross Bolen Pod.
YouTube. We can watch the full episode on YouTube.
YouTube. Just search the Ross Bolen Podcast.
Run it back.
And it'll pop up right there in the bar.
Run this episode back and watch it this time.
Also, as I mentioned, every single week, there is a 3rd episode that comes out in one place and one place only with no ads in it, and that's patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. And as Jared mentioned at the top of the show, it's usually even a little more unhinged and fun than here. So if you're not on Patreon, if you've never been, give yourself the gift of RBP this December and join us today on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. Also, I'm playing a lot of Apex Legends and Halo on twitch.tv/BossRollin. So if you wanted to join me, come through. Jared and I'll be back soon. You got one more free episode this week. That'll be free 99. And then you'll have to come through on Patreon. Seriously, we need as many of you there as we can. I know some of you are like, dude, you bring it up so much. I know. Just go there. And I'll stop bringing it up so much.
Mm-hmm.
There is a number that if we get to on there, then I can stop bringing it up so much. But until it's at least 2,000.
Yeah.
And until we're there, I am going to not shut the fuck up because we have got to build this company. And to do that, we need the support of our listeners and our fans and our followers. And I know y'all are capable of it. And if you're listening and you're like, bro, I don't have $5. That's tight. I get it. Move on. But for those of you who it's like you blow $5 on the dumbest shit on the regular, come through, baby. We got something for you. Good stuff. Great stuff in some cases.
If we somehow get 2,000 by the end of the year, I will put up a video of Ross spanking my bare ass in the backyard.
Bare
ass.
I don't know if we're gonna like terms and conditions wise. That might be the thing that gets us kicked off Patreon, and then the following we built won't matter.
I'm gonna do the goat too.
Okay, well then we're definitely getting banned. We can't put that on TikTok. I can't even reference my penis on TikTok anymore without catching a 4-day ban.
Try it.
We did over and over. Every time we got flagged. Anyway, love y'all. Thanks for being here. Hope you have a great week. Be back soon. Ha ha.